Welcome, guys, to the UFC 284. Like my thoughts on the fights. We're going to be starting off with the early prelims, then we'll go into the prelim card, and then if there's enough time on the video, I'll also talk about the main card, or it might be in a separate video. But anyway, we'll start off with what I would consider a brutal robbery of Sabura Turgorov. Uh, Elvis Brenner managed to looked amazing in the first round, landed some nice leg kicks. But if I was to give any round to him, it would be the first. And I could maybe see a 29-28 for Brenner, but not a 30-27. Saburo on the second round started, landing big shots. In the third, they had the control time up against the cage, still landing nice shots, outstruck him. I just thought I might have to watch it back, with unbiased eyes. But I felt Zabura should have, got the decision on that one. And then the next fight was Blake Blider, continuing his undefeated streak right now. He's 8-0 in his professional career. He beat Shane Young. He looked very good, using these takedowns. He got a nice brutal body lock takedown in the first, and then managed to find his sort of comfort on his feet. And as he said at the end in his post-fight interview, that he was concerned about jet lag and he was conserving his stamina. And then the third, they did put on a good performance with his striking. So, congratulations to Blake Blider. We have Luma Lukbumi, which she came off with a second round sub against Ellis Reed. That was a nice first round. She showed some nice good striking. She done I believe she got a takedown in the first, but then she was also countered. Ellis Reed looked like she was going to start taking up, running away with the fight. Like Booming, sort of was geeing off sort of, tiring body language, and then straight away, start of the second, she just grabbed her, slammed her down, got her back, rear naked choke sub with 44 seconds into the second round, which was just crazy to see because I thought Boomy was going to start tiring out, but no, she came out, got the sub. It was an amazing performance from Boomy. I believe she's now on a 4-fight win streak, maybe 3, I'm not sure. The next fight after that was Jack Jenkins versus Don Chinnis. Jack Jenkins had some clean, crisp striking in the fight, but also proved that he could compete on the ground with a good wrestler in Don Chinnis. Nice. It was a nice. It was a great fight for to showcase Jack Jenkins' skills, and it showed you the heart of Chinnis. It was a good fight. Then going into the early prelim, not the early prelim, sorry, the prelim card. Jamie Malarkey versus Francisco Padro. Jamie Malarkey played it very smart, with Francisco Padro being a young fighter, came out looking for, to try and end it in the first, maybe, or, land some big combinations, some big blitz moments, but Jamie Malarkey took him down in the first, and then you could see that Jamie then sort of, once he, Padro sort of slowed down, Jamie was then able to open up on the feet, but was still respecting Pedro's power, and then almost got caught at the end of the third with a Kimura. I don't think it was, close, but it was a nice attempt by Padro, and it was good for him to get in there against a high level opponent like Jamie Malarkey, and I hope to see Padro come back with a bit more confidence, being a bit more patient on the feet, which he did. He did just really well in the, I believe it was the second. He was a lot more patient, tightened up his shots. He wasn't overextending, and Jamie Malarkey found it harder to get the takedowns than they did in the first. And then we're off into flyweight with Shannon Ross and Clayton Rodriguez. I mean, man, Rodriguez just looked amazing. Just, I don't know what, got the knockout TKO within the first minute. Brutal body shots, very dynamic striker, but he's very methodical about it. He's not just throwing it wildly, he's, throwing it with bad intent. And then we're moving on to featherweight. Joshua Calbaldo versus Malasek. I'm not going to pronounce his last name because I'll just butcher it. But, it was a brutal low blow at the end of the first round with a spinning heel kick to the groin. Joshua Calbaldo took like 2 minutes, I believe, recovery time. Still, after the end of the round, you could still see he was discomforted by the groin shot, but then proceeded to come out and get the sub in the second round, dropped him with a nice clean hand, a straight hand, and instantly just got on his back, subbed him. Amazing performance from Joshua Calbaldo. Tyson Pedro lost a decision against Bukasakas. These are the fights I kind of started, drifting off, kind of getting almost a little power nap for the main event. So that's the one fight I didn't really watch with full intent. The Jimmy Crute versus Alfonso Manfield. That was a crazy fight, What I mainly remember is Manfield landed a couple of big shots in the first, and then Jimmy Crute started getting the better exchanges on with the grappling. And the only reason it was a draw was because of the point deduction because of the fence grab of Manfield in the third. But if it wasn't for the point deduction, I believe it would have been Manfield by decision. So he put on a good performance. Hopefully see these guys run it back. Hopefully see them both improve. And then, man, what a knockout for Justin Tafa. Parker Porter was trying to rush in, land some big shots, but it only takes one from Justin Tafa to end the show. And then, we move on to welterweight. I think, we've got enough time to run through all this. Jack Della, I won't pronounce the last, but, put on an amazing performance. Sort of really answered how was he going to close the distance with Randy Brown. Randy Brown looked amazing with the range. He was very long, the tallest fighter in welterweight. But as soon as one punch landed clean, I think that was it. He just, chicken leg, face planted, sub from, Jack. He's looking like he's going to have a very, very bright future in the welterweight division. Then we're moving on to the co-main, right? Now, guys, I really thought Josh Emmett was going to be able to implement his game a little bit more than what he did. I didn't expect it to be so one-sided from Yair. Yair almost got caught in that first, but just outdone Emmett everywhere, on the ground, on the feet, even off his back. He was landing these beautiful elbow strikes. It was just insane. I've never, and I thought Yair was going to win, but I didn't think in that type of fashion. And I can't wait to see him versus Volkanovski. That will be a very interesting match. I don't know, I think he presents some unique challenges to Volk, but I do believe Volk will just get the win. And then we're going into the main event. So we see in the main event that Islam Makhachev looked human. I don't believe he was as hurt as the commentators were saying, from some of the blows from Volkanovski, but he definitely got cracked. And and it was good to see Islam Makhachev actually tested. If I thought he was just going to run through Volk, or I thought Volk was just going to sort of run through Makhachev, maybe land a big shot, or he would maybe just completely neutralise the takedown. I didn't expect Volk to neutralise the takedowns as good as he did, and also for Islam to be as great as a striker as he was. You know, he was he had great. You know, some of the things he threw were a bit wild, but you know, he has some nice fundamentals in his striking. He was, you know, it was an amazing fight. I don't know what, you know, it was. I could have seen it being maybe. I could possibly see it kind of almost going Volk's way, like, you know, I think back upon it, because Volk did do a lot, very active on his feet. You know, was landing the leg kicks, which were, you know, must have caused a bit of disruption for Islam. You know, then, but you seen like Islam sort of got comfortable on in his striking. You know, it was a complete sort of shift. Like when I was watching, I was thinking to myself, like, why is he not, you know, going for more heavy takedowns or, you know, whatnot? But he seemed like he was really tired. I don't know if like the Australia, you know, the weight cuts are maybe starting to take out a bit too much from Islam now. And I'm not making any excuses for his performance, because I do think maybe Volkanovski is just one of the fighters that, you know, he was the pound for pound king, and they proved it there. Because if he managed to do that to make Islam look human, it is, you know, that is a amazing thing to do. You know, was in it every step of the way, ending the fight on top as well. You know, and you can see Islam sort of was wearing the more visible damage. You know, like, and Volk was very smart in there as well. Like as you seen, like at the end of the fifth, going into the fifth, is when he was speaking to his corner that, you know, he was just getting done on the ground, and he's going to go for it in this fifth. And Islam was right there and matched him the whole way through, which was an amazing thing to see between two, you know, amazing fighters of the sport. You know, Islam obviously is going to have to go back and work on a lot of stuff, but you know, the future of the two of them is still looking so bright, and that fight only intensified their careers. You know, like Volkanovski might have another loss to his name, but it wasn't like it was, you know, like he just got dominated, or, you know, it was just another one on the way for Islam. No, this was a brutal challenge for Islam, and you know, I was paranoid going into the judges' scorecard with Islam, because I thought after the Sabura decision, I don't know what the judges, you know, what the other judges going to be like throughout the rest of the card. But no, I do think though it shouldn't have been a two. I don't think it was a two round lead to Islam. I think it was a 49-48 though. Not a. No, sorry. Or is it 48-47? And then one was 49-46. So I think something like that. But, you know, it was definitely a very close one. But I do see that Volk, if there was a potential rematch, I do see maybe Volk could adjust more than what Islam would. But, you know, I don't know if it's really, if there's much merit for a rematch, even though he is the only person to have made Islam look human, apart from obviously when Islam got finished. But it seemed that he was coming up here to give the featherweights division sort of time to develop with the Josh Emmett situation. You know, you've got Arnold Allen versus Max Holloway. You've now got Yair as interim. So, you know, it is looking good for the featherweight. So he's got some business to go back and take care of, and then who knows what the future is holding for Islam. He's obviously, I think he's still wanting to go on and defend the title a few times, but we have to wait and see for the Benio versus Oliveira fight, because I do believe that will be a contender fight. But anyway, guys, that has been my thoughts on the UFC 284 card. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please take care. Peace out.